Good afternoon, humans with DNA, and welcome to Crash Course Frederick Douglass Style with Ariana and Kathy. Today we will be discussing the book The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass and its theme intertwined with Douglass' meaning of personhood. Frederick Douglass was a slave who worked for many years and faced racial discrimination and physical abuse by masters and his fellow white citizens. Douglass' purpose was to try and get society to come to the realization that slavery is a horrid act against humankind and needs to be abolished. Let's head to the thought bubble to get more in depth with this position and analyze different aspects of personhood through Douglass' eyes.
Guys, it's Abby Barnes, here to give you something to ponder about with Douglass, his position on slavery and personhood, here in the thought bubble. Anyone with human DNA has the capability to destroy or harm another person's life. People with certain DNA inflict more evil upon certain people that they believe has different DNA than them. So the whites basically believe that they share nothing with the African Americans, even human DNA. But DNA is inevitably what makes us human. We look human, talk like a person, and we all think and feel no matter what our race is. If we all went by the social criterion, slaves would not be persons, because people did not care about them other than fellow slaves. Whether others like it or not, slaves are just as human, possibly even more of a person, because under our physical structure, we are all made up of the same nature.
Thank you, Abby, for that insightful thought within the thought bubble thought. It is crucial to be identifiable as a person, as many people struggle to find their identity. Douglass, throughout the beginning of the book, struggled with who he was as he was recognizing himself as a slave. Confusion of who he was and who people he cared about being hurt, and realizing that can happen to him. As he grew into adulthood, he accepted the fact that he was identified as property more than a person. But once Douglass gained freedom, he began to find out who he truly was and taking the world around him. He had been told his entire life that he was some sort of animal because that is what his masters believed and drove the thought into his head. Now let's head over to see what mail we have to close out this course and what the audience thinks. The mail today is from Ashay Antoine from Wake Forest, North Carolina. Ashay says,
Dear Ariana and Cassidy of Crash Course, I understand that the main theme of this narrative is the corruption of the influence of slavery, the indictment that slavery coerces everyone involved. It gives unnecessary power to malignant men and also inflicts evil upon the good, all with hate, and provides them with a sense of superiority. In chapter 10 of the book, Douglass speaks out about how they have turned him into an animal, but he tells his audience how that animal will turn him back into a human being. But I have been pondering over the thought of emotion with personhood. Douglass presents his narrative in a factual tone and avoids personal opinions, yet the story is full of emotion. How is this possible? Is Douglass a person, and what makes him a person since he has always been treated like an animal? Thank you so much, and get back to me as soon as you can. Ashe.
well, Ashay, the genetic criterion that describes a person is that they have DNA. Therefore, technically, Douglass is a person, as he objectively trying to look at slavery from the standpoint of a person as he has DNA. Douglass is a person because he has human DNA. He does not consider himself above whites, but on the same level, not considering race, but because he is human. I hope that this crash course on Frederick Douglass has changed your perspective about personhood and how you are considered a person through genetic criterion. Douglass talks about the corruption of slavery and his desire to see it abolished. Douglass was treated like an animal his whole life, but considered himself just as much of a person as his white masters, because under their physical being, they are all made up of DNA underneath. Contact us if you have any questions, comments, or topics for us to ponder upon. See you next week on Crash Course with Ariana and Cassie.